Coming to you from our Aerospark studios in the capital Vindu, this is the Monday edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for making a date with us. Good evening, I'm Michael Madimba. In tonight's lead. On Friday, approximately 50 frustrated citizens gathered outside the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare in Vindu, seeking answers about funds allegedly promised to them in 2021. Now, this marked their second demonstration at the ministry's premises following a similar protest in January this year. More context from our lead report filed by our producer Lydia Pitiri.
According to the group, about 8,000 vulnerable people were enrolled in a pilot program in 2021 by the ministry and the World Food Programme. The group said they were promised a once-off payment of 1,800 Namibian dollars and 600 Namibian dollars per month over 3 years, but they never received this money. Social activist Michael Amushelelo read a petition on behalf of the group expressing dissatisfaction with the lack of information regarding the promised funds.
This was supposed to have been done since 2021. The last time we were here, Martha Mbobo, who came to listen to our demands, was shaking and shivering and looked like someone who was guilty of something. We have learned through media reports that she has now left the ministry. The feedback that was provided to our people last time was not satisfactory.
The group demanded an explanation and asked to see the communication between the ministry and the World Food Programme regarding cancellation of the funds. Sylvia Shandali reporting for Primetime News.
Switching attention to post-election happenings in neighboring South Africa. Weeks after South Africans went to the polls without an outright winner and with the African National Congress or ANC losing its majority, the political landscape has certainly shifted. After weeks of fruitless coalition talks, the ANC and Democratic Alliance or DA have come together to form a government of national unity. Now, on Friday, the South African Parliament re-elected the ANC's Cyril Ramaphosa as president in a comfortable 283-44 victory over left-wing opposition challenger Julius Malema. AFP brings us this report.
African National Congress or ANC announced on Saturday that South African President Cyril Ramaphosa will announce an inclusive cabinet. Ramaphosa will lead what the party calls a government of national unity after the May 29 general election produced no outright winner. Congratulatory messages continued to pour in for the leader who was re-elected as president on Friday and will be inaugurated on June 19. Konjeni Ambinga reporting for Primetime News.
Staying atop the South African political landscape. Former South African President Jacob Zuma on Sunday said his new party would join an opposition alliance to coordinate resistance to the government while maintaining its challenge to the general election results. Once more, AFP brings us this report.
The Umkhonto we Sizwe also said it would join a newly formed parliamentary grouping which includes several mostly leftist opposition parties represented in parliament. Called the Progressive Caucus, it is currently led by the radical leftist Economic Freedom Fighters or EFF, which won 39 seats in the new parliament.
Because we are sitting here today, we ought not to be here. IEC should have taken our complaints, which are very heavy and serious. They decide not to do it. In our country, we can do it, no problem. In democratic countries, we cannot do it. Where is democracy?
The Umkhonto we Sizwe came third in the election, winning 14.6% of the vote and 58 parliamentary seats.
Umkhonto we Sizwe is of the strong view that the 2024 elections were rigged and that the results announced by the IEC are not a true reflection of the will of the people.
On Friday, the party boycotted the country's first parliamentary sitting where Zuma's long-term political foe, Cyril Ramaphosa, was re-elected as president for a second term. Sylvia Shandali reporting for Primetime News.
Now, in updates from beyond our borders, a vehicle in the convoy of Malawi's late Vice President Saulos Chilima's funeral procession rammed into mourners at a village on Sunday night, killing 4 people and injuring 12, Malawian police revealed. It was part of a motorcade transporting the body of the Vice President who died in a plane crash last week. Congenia Mbinga brings us more details.
An eyewitness told AFP that the vehicle plunged into the group as it attempted to maneuver away from the volatile crowd. According to a police statement availed to AFP, due to the impact, 2 females and 2 male pedestrians sustained severe head injuries and multiple fractures and died whilst receiving treatment. 12 more people had been injured in the incident. The car, along with other military, police and civilian vehicles, was headed to Nsimpe, Chilima's home village, 180 kilometers south of the capital, Lilongwe, ahead of his burial on Monday, which has been declared a public holiday. Felix Njwala, spokesman for Chilima's party, the United Transformation Movement, said there was some tension along the route as mourners demanded the procession to stop so they could see the coffin. The party itself on Thursday demanded an investigation into the plane crash. Chilima died on Monday with 8 others when a military aircraft on an internal flight crashed into Malawi's Chikwenge forest. During a public viewing of the body at a stadium in Lilongwe on Sunday afternoon, President Lazarus Chakwara called for an independent inquiry into the accident. Congenia Mbinga reporting for Primetime News.
Stay tuned for your talk roundup with the business segment thereafter. Welcome to the Primetime Biz segment, the slot dedicated to all things business and economics. We commence the segment with water sustainability. Earlier today, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kalish Leitwine, announced that groundwater vulnerability areas across the country have been identified during the update of Namibia's geohydrological map. He made this announcement during a speech at a high-level meeting on the impacts of uranium mining in the Stampriet transboundary aquifer system in the Roundup region. Sylvia Hashondali brings us this insert.
These mapped zones are crucial for deciding on mining, in fact, on any industrial activity that can impact on that water resource. Any industrial activity, even domestic activities in those areas, can impact on water resources, and they need to be taken into consideration. Human activities that pose a risk to groundwater contamination should be prohibited in areas of very high to high groundwater vulnerability. Exploration, drilling and mining activities in these zones put groundwater resources at risk if not conducted appropriately. As a principle, therefore, as a dry country, it is essential to agree on methods of exploration and mining that do not endanger the quality or quantity of significant groundwater resources that we have.
On to business updates from further afield. German sportswear giant Adidas has launched an investigation into alleged large-scale bribery in China after senior employees were accused of embezzling millions of dollars, the Financial Times reported on Sunday. AFP brings us this insert.
A letter allegedly written by employees of Adidas China accused several Chinese employees by name, the paper reported. Those accused included one of the company's executives involved with Adidas' marketing budget in China, which it said stood at 250 million euros a year. Another Adidas China manager is said to have received millions in cash from suppliers and physical items such as real estate, according to the FT. Adidas could not be reached immediately for comment. Konjeni Yambinga reporting for Primetime News.
This is where the top segment concludes for tonight. Up next is the countrywide weather forecast, followed by a roundup of the latest economic news. Sport Planet, the segment dedicated to all things sport in action. We commence with netball. Namibia's Deb Marine Desert Jewels won bronze medals on Saturday after putting up an impressive performance against Samoa in the third-place playoffs of the 2024 Pacific Netball Series in Brisbane, Australia. Now, the Netball Australia's Pacific Netball Series is an international tournament that provides opportunities for teams from Australia, the Pacific, and beyond to compete for world ranking points. The champion receives support from the Australian government's High Performance Pacific Sports program. Now, the senior national netball team showed resilience and determination to dominate Samoa 54-36, a team that defeated them 47-55 in their opening match earlier. Speaking after the match, national team coach Yulene Meyer said the team had a great game and an all-round performance from attack, mid-court and defense to win them the bronze medal. On to Premiership Rugby. The University of Namibia or UNAM rugby team went top of the Namibia Rugby Premier League log standing with an impressive win against Grootfontein at the UNAM Stadium on Saturday. After losing ground a week ago with their second defeat of the season against Wanderers, the Clever Boys stood their ground this time around against a visiting Grootfontein, who they managed to overcome with a 29-24 win to go top of the standings. Despite traveling almost 500 kilometers to the capital, Grootfontein came well prepared and put up an impressive game as they have done all season in their fixtures. But UNAM managed to withstand the visitors' resilience and ran in 4 tries and a penalty. Stay tuned for your sports roundup. This is where we dock for tonight. Join us again for yet another insightful primetime news edition. Remember to follow the on-screen prompts and subscribe to the Number TV platform to stay updated on developments shaping our world. This is where I leave it for tonight. From myself, Michael Madimba, and my zestful production team behind the scenes, it's good night.